Hey everybody, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and I thought I'd throw together a little Graveyard Keeper video that was all about my wishes for the future of Graveyard Keeper in the sense of gameplay. So I thought this might just be a fun video that lets me kind of talk about, alright, I've played the game for 100 hours or something ridiculous like that. I've gotten all but 2 of the Steam achievements. I have completed all pieces of the game's content, and I have a graveyard of 1320 quality, a church of max quality, on and on and on. So I've played a lot. So let me give you my top 5 wishes for Graveyard Keeper. Number 1. Call me crazy, and this might just be a personal thing, but I want a jump button. I want, for my character, which has to walk around endlessly, to be able to jump. And in addition to jumping, I want that jump to be both functional and aesthetic. And so what I mean is, jumping is something that if I have to walk a lot in a game, it just breaks up the monotony of walking around endlessly and lets me do something fun in the midst of it. So you give me a button to push, my character jumps, and I'm happy. Now you notice that my character is moving around quickly because I am constantly using speed potions, but even with that, I'd still like to jump. And the functional bit of jumping that I would like is to be able to jump over the graveyard fence at the very least. I hate getting stuck in here. I would love to be able to just take a small shortcut and jump over the fence if I wish. In addition to that, I'd love to be able to jump over my garden fence right here at any time. Now, I'm not saying I want to be able to jump and bypass Clotho's swamp or anything crazy that would be game breaking. Just a few things like around my property. Let me jump over this stone wall. Let me just have some shortcuts, have some fun, and make moving around just more fun overall in the game. So that's wish number 1. Wish number 2, you might have seen it right over here in my graveyard. I have an astronomical amount of logs stacked up in my graveyard from clearing out all the trees that once existed here. And while you can do this fun soccer movement of kicking a few logs at the same time, you know, you can try to maybe kick 3. It works reasonably well over short distances, but if you're trying to do something like, oh, I don't know, take these logs back to your home and put them on the wood storage container for the zombies to harvest, it gets tricky when you want to push logs over a great distance and you have to change directions. Now, I love that mechanic. You can keep that mechanic, but what I would like is some sort of device in the game, a technology that you build and research that is like a cart or a wagon, similar to the donkey, that would allow you to move slabs of stone, marble, corpses, and logs. Big things that you can normally only carry one of. I would love to be able to just have a cart where I can just load them up and move them around together. That becomes most important when, you know, let's say I've got a bunch of bodies here and I want to cremate them all. Well, I can do this feat of just carrying them one by one over to my crematorium area and burning them on the pyres, but that is slow and cumbersome. It doesn't have to be an early game technology. It can be a reward for later in the game that's expensive, whatever. But just let me load up some corpses, you know, like in Monty Python, Bring Out Your Dead. the cart of bodies that they have. Give me that. You could make a separate one for bodies, a separate one for stone, you know, a logging cart, whatever. Donkey's long lost relative could help you out, or you could just do the manual labor yourself, or best yet, in my opinion, use a zombie. Have a zombie be able to haul the cart. You tell them where you want them to go, you put the logs there, you can whistle for them, you know, and summon them to a location and have them move all of the stuff for you. Of course, they already do that one at a time from the big tree or the quarry, but what about all the other places in the game? So I would like some way to move these big slabs of rock and these logs and the corpses and the marble more easily when you have more than one, okay? Wish number 3. Let me show you something when I go into my technology screen. You'll notice in the upper right that I happen to have 3,600 red experience orbs, 2,500 green experience orbs, and 2,900, nearly 3,000 blue experience orbs. Now I'm at the end of the game. What do I want? I want some way to use these experience orbs for something other than just sitting there doing nothing at this point. I don't want, again, you to be able to have some cheat that you can spend the experience orbs on early in the game that would make it so you could bypass the intended technology curve of the game. But once you're in endgame, what I would like is for you to be able to build a device that allows you to exchange those experience orbs for hard-to-get resources in the game, and they don't have to be expensive ones. For example, twigs. Twigs are like the bane of my existence. I want them all the time, but they are a little bit tedious to go around and gather. Let me trade in some experience orbs for twigs. Also, how about blood? You need blood for your potions, for speed, and you only somehow get 1 blood for every body. That's quite bad. You'd think there'd be more blood than that, than 1 vial in a body, but whatever. I want more. And I would love to be able to exchange my experience for things like that. Now, it could also be something that you exchange for cosmetics, and that is going to go into another wish that I have for the game. But give me something to do with all of this extra experience that I've gathered that allows me to do endgame stuff. For example, what if I could trade them in, and it was really expensive, I don't care, for premium organs? The best organs in the game are ridiculously tedious to acquire. You know, if you want these kinds of +3 red, +3 white, or +3 white, -2 red organs, you are going to be waiting for a long time. And let's just say, as a way to kind of expedite that, once you're in the extreme endgame, you can trade in experience orbs for that. Okay, so I mentioned cosmetics. Wish number 4 is cosmetic. I would like you to be able to do something in the game, exchange some resource, develop something. Again, this can be late game, but similar to Stardew Valley, I want to be able to upgrade my home a little bit, you know, maybe make it bigger, maybe add some things that are purely cosmetic. They don't have to have any function in the game, but you could do that. You could upgrade your kitchen and things like that, and that would be great. I would also very much like to be able to upgrade the clothing of my character. I am wearing this basically sack for a shirt with elbow pads and a rope belt for the entire game. How about a hat? How about a cool coat? How about some new pants, gloves, whatever? Give me a new outfit just to break things up, please. And then while we're on the topic of cosmetic overhauls, it would be really cool if you could expand your workspace and rearrange it better But also, like, what if you could develop a plot of land out here and use it for whatever you like? Like, if you want to have more farming plots, go for it. If you want to have more places to store logs and rocks or whatever, go for it. If you want to have a bigger place to build these berry bushes and apple trees, like another orchard or something, go for it. If you want to make more funeral pyres, go for it. Like, allow some extension of your space, and you can customize and choose that. Again, it could be expensive. I'm not saying I want to mess with the early game, but for endgame players, for returning players, I think that would be a really cool way to theory craft about how to use some of your additional space, because you're very limited into what you can do in terms of optimizing and ergonomically and efficiently organizing your workspace and your home. So that would be another fun little bit. And so Wish 4 is Cosmetic. Now, Wish 5, you're going to think I'm probably bananas about this, but this is purely a quality of life feature. And let me show you. Let's say I am at the furnace and I want to make a bunch of conical flasks, okay? So I need to put some fuel in here, and I've got fuel, right? So let me load in some coal, and then let's say I'm going to build, I don't know, 20 conical flasks, and I tell it to do that. And then now my furnace is making 20 conical flasks. Fantastic. However, what if, oh, whoops, I actually didn't mean to do that. I don't want to be making those flasks. There is no way to stop this when it's in progress. So if you start a queue of something, you are stuck forever until this finishes. There is nothing, okay? So fix that. Allow me to interrupt this, stop this process, and change it if I make a bad decision. Additionally, with this, it would be nice if you could queue up long projects like this. Make me 20 flasks, then after that, let me make, 20 advanced conical flasks or whatever. Allow me to queue that up. If I have to have a zombie here to maintain that, to allow that to happen, fine. But at least let me interrupt the queue on the furnace, or if you're on your oven here cooking, in your fireplace, and you're making a bunch of carrot cutlets, you are stuck until these cutlets are done. You can't do anything. You could go to the kitchen, of course, under your tavern and use that. But the point is, I would like it to be that you can interrupt these processes and change them as you will. Of course, you could just build 1,000,000 furnaces and do it that way. But what about even earlier in the game, when you only have the resources to have one? It would be really nice to be able to do specifically that, and that doesn't seem too hard or game breaking at all. It's just a quality of life feature, okay? So that is my 5th wish, and as a kind of addendum to that wish, on with the quality of life in the crafting yard, it would be tremendous if you had a zombie here and you were making anything that is advanced and has a chance for your chisel to break. If you could queue those up further, given the fact that you have a whole bunch of chisels in a chest nearby. So for example, if you want to build like a marble cross, you can't reliably, marble cross might not be the best example, but for some of the ones where if you're carved piece of stone, for example, like you want to craft a bunch of these, because it requires the chisel, carved piece of marble, all of these advanced things that you want for nice graveyards, you have to do these one at a time, and it would be nice if you could queue them up reliably for a long time with a zombie. Sometimes they let you do 2 or more, but usually if I do a bunch, it stalls out at just a couple and doesn't work. So clean that up, and that's just kind of another wish. So these are just some small quality of life issues. Again, I'm intending this wish list to be fun. I'm not upset with the game or raging or ranting at the game in any way. I think it's a fantastic game. These are just things that I think would help make this great game even better and Some of them aren't tremendously onerous, I would feel, to implement, but I'm curious what you all think. What are your wishes for this game? What do you would want to see? I have some honorable mentions, which would be perhaps being able to teleport to Clotho's shop once you've navigated the swamp successfully. That would be a nice time saver. Things like that. I would love it if the Zen meditation garden would move quicker through time. It still takes more time than I would like to go through a day and wait for a body, for example. Maybe speed this up. I don't know. I would love to read, what are your wishes? What do you think about my list? What are your choices? And what would you do? Simple, small, cosmetic, functional, practical, to extend and enhance this fantastic game. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have an excellent evening or day. And let's enjoy some Graveyard Keeper. If you haven't played this game, I do have a 140 episode Let's Play that goes from the very beginning all the way through every existing DLC for the game. And I also have some tutorial videos on embalming and some tips to the game that you can check out as well. Take care, everybody.